Hey guys, welcome back. This is the low budget frame jig series video number 5. In the last video, we built the bottom bracket fixture. Link up in the corner to that one. In this video, we are on to the dropout assembly. Let's get started. Okay, we're starting off with some gluing. This is for the rear column. I used a piece of aluminum bar stock for the glue to set up on the plywood to keep it straight. And these are the wood parts for the dropout fixture. Okay, so for this part, I thought it could be simpler, so I ended up redesigning it. Here is the old design. It had a clamping mechanism that slid up and down. I never was too happy with this, and it was a little overcomplicated. And I had to put a handle lever on there because if I put a knob, there wouldn't have been enough clearance, and that kind of bugged me. So here is the newer, simpler design. The sliding fastener was removed and is now replaced with a screw-down knob. Right here I'm drilling both parts at once so that the holes will line up. For the second hole, you can see that my first hole is indexed, fastened with a screw and a nut. And the smaller holes are for the wood screws. And here are the finished rear axle fixtures. Next are the plates that will hold the rear column to the spine of the jig. And same deal here, clamp both pieces together and drill the first hole. Use a fastener to index the two pieces together. And I added a second fastener with the next hole. And here I use WD-40 to get the adhered pieces of paper off of the steel. And it works pretty good if you let it soak in there. And just in case, don't try this on wood. It will mess up your wood. And I'm using a center punch to index the side facing up at the time of drilling. If one plate is flipped, the holes will not line up well, so that's why I'm marking these. And back onto the drop-out fixture assembly. I'm marking holes to drill on the wood part. I made sure to drill holes straight through to the other side. That way the holes on both sides will be aligned. Whoopsie! I almost countersunk the wrong hole. I stopped myself, so got a little countersunk, but not too much. Anyway, the nut will hide that mistake. And this is indeed as bad as it looks. I didn't have enough clearance. Otherwise, I would have used the vise, but I was stuck to just holding it and, yeah, drilling very carefully. And drilling holes on the rear column. I'm using the steel plate to line up my holes, and as each hole is drilled, I insert a tapered head screw for indexing. Here's a closer look at those 3D printed knobs. I used a PLA filament because that is all I could get in this color. But eventually I'll replace these with PETG. And yeah, PETG is stronger and more heat resistant. I realized at this stage in the build that a jig stand would make things a whole lot easier, so off camera I cut and glued these parts. Not much needs to be said about these, since they're pretty straightforward. Only thing I will say is that when you cut the slots, make them a bit smaller and then file them to a snug fit. And you all remember the head tube fixture from the earlier video. Here I am installing it back on the jig. And the wobbly bottom bracket fixture, that got a redesign and upgraded to beefier saddle plates. All other parts remained the same. The springs got an upgrade to thicker gauge wire. And here's the rear column. And sliding on the axle fixture. And just to test out how this thing clamps, I grabbed a just some random threaded rod, stuck it in there, and it works pretty well. Okay, let's tally up our costs. Most of these are a recap from before. We have plywood $70, steel $66, adhesive $17, fastening hardware $46, polyurethane $19, updated costs for springs, that's $10, and knobs. So there are many options here. It really depends on the budget you're shooting for. I rounded this out to $20. Our total is $248. Okay guys, that is a wrap. We are getting really close, likely just one more video left in this series. All that's left is the seat tube fixture. That's that little boomy thing hanging off the rear column. Okay, thanks a lot for sticking around, and thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace.